Greetings. Welcome to day 21 of the 31 Days of Tarot Challenge 2018 by Ethany Dawn. Today's prompt really was very interesting. I had to give this one some thought before I answered. It is, do you use the tarot for mediumship readings? Why or why not? If no, would you like to? The reason I had to give it some thought is when I read tarot, I consider that I'm reading energies of someone, of the querent, of the client. Maybe they have some questions or they just want to know what is going on around them, whatever. And in order to do that, the cards are a way of me feeling, understanding what they are experiencing or will be experiencing. What are those energies that I'm reading is the question that I was pondering, when I was answering the question. If the energies around us, what are those? Are those spirits? Are those beings from another realm? Are they, are they from the spiritual world? Some of my tarot spreads, I even include a card at the top, an extra card, especially when I do a Celtic cross. I usually always, particularly spreads that have numerous cards, good many cards. I had an additional card, which is some kind of a message or some kind of clarification card that I identify as a, your spiritual guide, or your, some people like to think of it as their angel card or guardian angel. I don't usually call it that, but I think some querents like to consider it that. So that's from a spiritual world. If that's not a being, some of those beings, can we say, or could just be from whoever's out there at large. The Santa Muerte Tarot that I worked with during all of October last year. I love this so much. It is called, the subtitle of the deck, the Book of the Dead, and this is all about, in the book that comes with the tarot, it's all about, it tells you, it talks about the card, but on every card it has the advice of the dead, the advice of the dead. So, do we already consult the dead? Do we already consult those that have passed on when we read the tarot anyway? What's the difference between that and mediumship? Many people call what I just described as a form of psychic reading. I never really have described myself as a psychic reader, but it was pointed out by Arwen and a lot of other, many other really well-respected tarot readers here on YouTube that is psychic reading. That is, makes you a psychic when you're reading the energies around you. That's what that means. So I've come to agree that, okay, you can call me a psychic reader if you want to. But what is the difference between a psychic reader and somebody who uses mediumship? As far as I can tell, the only thing is that in a mediumship, the reader is using the cards to contact a specific dead, maybe the dead relatives or the grandmother or somebody of the parent, somebody specific. And other than that, it's pretty much the same as what I've been doing all along. So if that is the case, I would say, why not? Of course, why not? It's not much difference when we use a spirit board or a Ouija. That's what we're doing, right? I don't really use a Ouija too much. I have in the past. I'm one of these people. I used it as a teenager at a slumber party. We used to carry them to slumber parties, and we all had some kind of horrific, scary experience because we thought it was a game. It wasn't really a game. It didn't turn out to be quite a game. We didn't know. We got in over our heads, I think. But now as an adult and as a seasoned reader, tarot reader, and as a crone and as a as a witch, I would say. I'm not at all afraid of communicating with the dead. I also have to say that now I'm older. I'm very, I'm around the dead all the time. I don't, if you watch my channel normally, I talk about, I dream of the dead all the time. It has not been all my life. It's only been maybe the past 5 years or something like that. But I dream of the dead. I don't dream about, it's not like that show that used to be on TV where that poor woman, every time she would go to sleep, she would dream, they would communicate with her, she'd see some stuff going on, and she woke up her poor husband. He spent the whole season, the whole show, in bed, waking up, like she woke him up. That was his entire role on the show. I forget what it was. But anyway, the medium, I don't know what it's called. Anyway, it's not like that. The dead in my dreams are just there. They don't usually attempt to communicate with me in any way. They're just there. They're just there. Maybe they're sitting in the chair. Maybe they're just with me wherever I am, or I see them in the group of people, or very rarely do they speak to me. I used to get kind of angry at them that why are you here if you're not going to talk to me? But I'm not angry anymore usually. It's sort of a comfort. It's sort of a comfort. Maybe they're just reminding me that they're there. I don't know. And I would say, some people would say, well, you're just hoping it's wishful thinking. You miss them and you're thinking of them. Some of them I don't know. I have to say, I don't know them all. Some of them are just there. I know they're dead. They don't speak to me. They don't really participate in what everybody's doing. They are just there. So maybe they're there to be with somebody else in my dream. I'm not sure. Anyway, I realize that is not the topic of conversation for this video, but I just wanted you to understand why I am saying the dead are so much a part of our lives already. I think a lot of us just don't know it. They just are. So of course, to involve them in a reading, I think that's very exciting, and I might try that. If I did it, it would be a little different. If I were going to do a tarot reading using mediumship, I would do a little thing specific, a little different. Just a few little things. These are just personal things for me. I did look up, by the way, there's several places on the internet. I don't have a URL for this. I'm not sure where I got this, but there's some spreads. One spread that I really kind of like, and I wish I could give it credit. I'm not going to show it because I don't. That's really not important. I think you need to develop your own layout. Like sharing ideas for a spread is really a good idea, but sharing the layout, how you lay them out specifically, is a personal thing. I personally like to lay things out so that I can see similarities across the way or up and down or what's beside, how that relates is sort of part of my deal. So I would probably use a different layout than they did anyway, but I will tell you I will share what the information is that you're receiving from the spread. But first I want to say how I would differ. If I'm going to use this mediumship in a tarot reading, I'm going to do a couple of things differently from my regular practice. And the one thing is, I would want my the clearance energies on the cards. Now, I do not freak out if people touch my cards. People are welcome to touch cards. As a matter of fact, when I am doing a reading, I will often, pick up a card and hand it if the person is in the same room with me, and hand them the card so they can hold it. If I want them to see something unique on the card, like a detail or something that I'm referring to, I'll let them hold it. Sometimes it takes some of the fear away when they get to hold the deck if some people are nervous. But I do not let them hold it before I have dealt them out. That's the difference. I don't let them hold it before I dealt them out. I do not let them shuffle. I do not let them cut. The reason being, a lot of people when they come from a reading are nervous. They're nervous that you're going to find out stuff that they don't want you to know about, or they've never been before, or what if you say something in front of their friends that they didn't want you to, to say, or whatever, that kind of thing. So I don't want their nervous energy on my cards before I shuffle. I trust my cards are going to come up the way they should be coming up when I shuffle, when I lay them out. They're going to come up in the right way. The right cards are going to come up. If their energies get into the cards, it messes that up for me. Personal thing. But after the fact, yes. So in this case, what I would do, though, this differently, if I want to do a specific reading for a specific person and contact a specific dead person or people for that person, I would want their energies on the cards. I wouldn't have them be a part of the shuffle, though. I might, when I talk about them, set up the atmosphere nice in the room. Maybe give them the deck. It would be unwrapped. I can unwrap it. I'm going to unwrap it. This is the Wildwood Tarot. Okay. So, I'd maybe give them the deck. This is a big deck. I don't know if I'd give them this big of a deck. And I say, giant hands, because the cards are slippery. Some of them are slippery, might go all over the place. But anyway, they're welcome to look at the cards. I might have them even, just look through a little bit to see what the deck feels like. And, think about the relative that they're wanting to contact while they're doing so. Okay, maybe even sharing a story with me about some memory that they had of this person. Maybe it's their grandmother. Talk about how they used to bake cookies together at Christmas time, and it was so important. They always did the same kind of cookies, and how important it was. And their grandmother would tie one of her aprons up around their chest so that they didn't get their clothes dirty. Some little memory just to put into the cards, into the room. Okay, just looking at the cards. Then I would take the cards back, I would shuffle, and I would lay out the cards. Okay. I need to have that time to connect with the client. And at that time, opening up the channel, opening up the communication between us, the cards, and the person that we're trying to bring into the room. By remembering somebody with a story is one of the best ways to bring them into the room. Okay. So these things I would do a little differently. You see, that's a little different. If I wanted, I might pull a card out, or I might use another deck. Maybe give them another deck. Just the major arcana, probably, of another deck. And I would have them maybe look for a card that might represent them, or might represent their relative, somebody that maybe it reminds them in some way physically of them or whatever. I would probably, if I were going to do that, I would probably choose a card that does not have a title on them, like, death. See my point? We don't want to pick a card that says death, but and put those as significators onto the spread if I wanted to in addition. But then it's a simple matter of, according to this, there are 14 cards. The first 5 are laid out in a row, pretty much in a row. And those cards are to confirm the connection somehow that we're making a connection with that person. Okay. These should contain some indication, something personal about their employment or the relationship with the person, or trigger some kind of memory in the client, that we know that we're talking to this person. So we have 5 cards that maybe give a possibility of that. For instance, maybe you're talking about your grandfather, and you see, and he loved his garden, and maybe there's a picture of some kind of card that relates to something gardening or those kind of things, or um, with children, or or something that would confirm that that's the person you're talking to. Then the middle cards, 6 through 9, offer some kind of a message. This is a message from the spirit to the client. They should. And then cards 10 through 14 contain some kind of important information. It might say, like a warning. It could be a warning from them. It could be a question. If a question is asked, it could be an answer. Just sort of like we do see in the Santa Muerte deck, where there's advice of the dead given. Same kind of thing. This is kind of like what we always see in tarot, right? Some kind of an answer or an indication or something, some message. But in this case, we have already confirmed in the layout that it is from the energies of the deceased loved one. Okay? Not that different. It's really not that different. I think a lot of people are creeped out by this subject. I'm curious to see what everybody says about it. I think everybody has their own personal take on it. But again, I don't see it varying that much from what my usual practice is to begin with. So it's, just a little twist. Just a little twist. Another twist that makes it interesting. So anyway, again, I'm Rebecca. Thank you so much for watching, and I send you blessings.